One of the biggest question marks on this team is at an odd position, Don, the place kicker. Alex Trelika, a huge loss to Texas Tech. He had a great, stellar career here. And they've got two individuals battling pretty hard right now. Do we have any pulse as to who we're going to see Saturday?
Mike Leach told us this week that he thinks Donnie Corona is ahead. And he's been battling all camp with Corey Fowler. Corey Fowler's a guy who's, senior walk-on, has handled onside kicks for his team. But Fowler was, he was excited because they told him coming out of spring, said, I'm not going to give the job to a freshman guy just because you put it on scholarship. You can go compete for it too. So he worked hard in the summer and added a little bit of leg strength, and he made some kicks from beyond 40 yards during camp and had days, quite a few days where he was pretty accurate. So made it a legitimate competition. As of the moment we're taping this, again, they haven't said which guy's the starter. All I'm going on is, Mike Leach said this week early that he thinks Donnie Corona has the edge right now. I think that Corona has the edge on basically. He's a real guy with a real strong leg, and will be doing, based on that, for sure is going to be doing kickoffs. But Adam got to see, these guys end of the day each camp, going head-to-head, kicking a pressure field goal.
That's right. To me, it looked like Corona probably had the edge as far as leg strength.
Right.
He just looked a little more sure of himself to me. He's a lefty. I'm a little biased towards lefty, so what.
You're another one of those people.
Yeah, that's right. But so I got to go with the lefty on that one. I'm sure they'll. Who knows though? It's nice to have someone capable in case something should happen. If Corona has a couple bad games and starts to lose his confidence, it's nice to have someone back there who can fill in.
I think one of the considerations with Corona is he has a lot of natural talent, obviously, or they wouldn't assign him to a scholarship out of high school. But he's also a guy he was an all-state running back.
Yeah.
Private school. He had 800-something yards, all-state running back, and so he's always been a guy who's been carrying the football and maybe, I guess, playing a little, Clay McGuire said, playing a little defense too. So he's just now getting to the point where he's getting to work on kicking every day and nothing else. And so I think he'll be, one of the things to monitor with him is how quickly he gets his technique completely down and is able to repeat it on a game-in, game-out basis. And like Adam said, to make sure that he avoids having a bad game or two early.
Consistency.
Don, you mentioned his athleticism and the fact that he played running back. Instead of seeing the Red Raiders either go for it on fourth down or kick a field goal, I think maybe we might be able to see a fake in there. Maybe
Donnie Corona
a
direct
snap to Corona. He runs right up the middle and leaps over the line.
Oh, I don't know about that.
All right.
Man, that might be something for a little later in his career. I don't know if Mike Leach wants to test him on that too early.
Adam, something earlier in the week that we were kind of talking about, kick returning, the risk/reward of using Michael Crabtree in that capacity.
Right. Crab might be able to take one to the house 1 or 2 times a year if he's your regular kickoff returner. Maybe you start drives a little closer to the other team's end zone, a little closer to midfield. But what if Crabtree gets hurt as a kickoff returner? I don't think they can afford to take that risk personally. He's a focal point of one of the best offenses in the nation. He's probably going to have plenty of a workload anyway, being on the field with the offense. I don't think you need to go there. If you can't find anyone who can catch a kickoff and not hold on to the ball and break a tackle or two, maybe you think about putting Crabtree in there. But
too much talent.
You don't want to risk. Yeah. You don't want to risk your season and put that guy back there when a gunner can come down and knock out his knee.
I'll disagree with you there. I think, and they've just been working at kickoff return versus punt return. I might agree with you if it's punt where guys are sitting ducks and you're looking up and you have some third string guy trying to make a name for himself and he just hammers you before the ball comes down. But on a kickoff return, I don't think the risk is not quite as much on kickoff return as a punt return. I think the idea of if you can get Crabtree to return 2 or 3 kickoffs a game, I think it will be a good thing for this team. I think the bigger consideration there is just how much is too much in terms of keeping him fresh and keeping him strong for the fourth quarter. But if he can make a play, particularly, let's say, home games or road games, either one, but if he can take a kickoff and return it 95 yards for a touchdown, imagine what it does to your momentum, particularly if you do it in Jones Stadium, and imagine what it does to another team if you do it on the road. So I think it's a good idea, and I think it's something that they should test, particularly in conference games, and see if you can benefit by it.
Right.
I see. Don makes a very good point about as opposed to punt returns, not
right.
as much of
more
a risk.
dangerous.
In my eyes, if there is a risk, you shouldn't do it.
Right. And then speaking of punt returns, Eric Morris, right, is going to be
probably. Yeah, he's your returning guy, and you have Jamar Wall also worked as a backup punt return man. I think they feel comfortable with either of those two, but Morris is the guy who's gotten the lion's share of the work last year, the most experienced at that spot, and so that's probably what you'll see, I think, starting out this season.
All right, guys, that'll do it for the specialists.